Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 45 of the Stire Sound. And if you've been riding with us the entire time, thank you so much because today's episode marks our 1 year anniversary. Hard to believe that it's been an entire calendar year since Jack and I started this podcast, but here we are. I'd like to think we're the best kept secret in motocross, but please help us not be the best kept secret. Be sure to spread the love, share the word on your social medias. Be sure to follow us. Of course, we're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. Thank you so much for the love and helping us get this far into our journey. I am Trey Stire, your host. As always, High Point National just took place. The MXGP of Italy just took place in Montevarchi. And man, High Point was the Hunter Lawrence show. This guy, I think we need to start calling him the streak breaker because Paula, he goes out there. Jett Lawrence had been undefeated at that track. Hunter Lawrence knocks him off his pedestal. Then High Point, Jett Lawrence, four consecutive overall wins at 251 and then three in the 450 class. And guess what? Hunter Lawrence knocks him off the top spot again. A flawless ride from the 96. And then in the 250 class, the Cole Davies train is starting to heat back up. 1-1, P1 in qualifying. Phenomenal performance from Cole Davies. And I'll share a little more insight from the Davies crew over there. What a performance. Of course, there was a lot happening across the field. There were a lot of great battles that might not have been shown on TV, to the Bar X boys, to Tondell versus Ferrandis, to some crashes that were pretty wild that I don't think got some TV time. Benny Bloss front flipping his bike into a fence. That was pretty impressive. Lots of stuff going on High Point. I was so stoked to be back at the track. Of course, home race for me. It was my eighth High Point National. Got to watch the races with my dad. WMX was awesome as well. A lot of great racing there, but we'll go ahead and get into things. I better introduce my co-host first. Of course, joining me as always, he's been here since the beginning alongside me in this journey. Jack Noel, what's up, man? Of course, coming to you from the Dirt Bike Depot, Dirt Legal WMR KTM team. High Point had some good moments. High Point also had some moments, but we've been doing this thing for a year now. Talk to me about what that means to you and how you felt along this journey so far.
Yeah, I'll just start with like how it's been cool to be able to do. Like, I mean, we literally talked about it at High Point. I want to say it was
Yeah,
like, hey, it'd be
and
kind of fun
Pittsburgh.
yeah. So like, it'd be fun to like start a podcast, just see like kind of how things go. I mean, I feel like there's no young people at least doing like something like this. I mean, I don't know how old that is. He's probably what? How old you been?
23, mate.
Yeah, like I mean, I'm 22. Trey's 21, 20, 22,
23.
23. So like we're all under 23 and
Yeah.
we're all just trying to, dig a little bit. And like nobody else out there's got everybody else that does moto podcast feels like they're 65 and like all they want to talk about is how good Damon Bradshaw was back in his day, and I don't really give a shit to be honest. So um yeah, we're here. We're just, like my era is now, so I feel like our era is now. I mean, I got the end of the Reed Stewart era, so I still know what that's about,
Yep.
but I was in the RC era. I was the Reed Stew Villapoto era. We're here to dig, son. Know what I mean, it's been a fun year, but High Point was cool. It was definitely like shaked up the championship. It was good to be back east. I feel like Davies looked unbelievable for some weird reason, and we haven't seen that Davies all year. I mean, I guess we saw the Davies from Supercross, right? Maybe he just doesn't like California, and like that could be so true because last year in Super like 2025 in Supercross. He hated it over there. Was non-existent in California. And all of a sudden, we start moving more east on Supercross, and he's good. So, yeah, I think that could be it. And if that's the case, everybody needs to watch the hell out. So, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, now there's a week off, so like the momentum could swing a little bit towards him, but it's gonna be interesting. And then obviously Seth going down like he did, like the weird loop out thing.
Sure.
That was such a bummer because I think Seth was the most well-rounded overall rider, I think, and I think he was kind of like off the radar preseason to all of us. Um, but yeah, then like Levi and Shimoda are still doing their thing, I guess, of not being very consistent, but also being very fast. So it's very, very weird situation. My boy Casey Cochran led some laps.
Yeah.
Stoked for him that he got the little monkey off the back there. So yeah, I just think going east is going to shake some things up. Guys' results will get better. I think the privateer pool will get bigger. It'll be more fun to watch. Shout out Carter DeLong for getting into the motos
Cartwheel
this
getting
year.
into the motos,
Holy
man.
shit, that was sick. So, yeah, no, it was a good weekend. It was fun to watch, and like the 450 class was the 450 class. The top three are just doing the top three things, so it's good.
Yeah. Thanks once again for being a part of this journey for an entire year. And I mean, I'll admit, you talk about the old heads. I'm a big Damon Bradshaw guy, but when I first got into the sport, I also had no idea that Damon Bradshaw, the motocross guy, was the same as Damon Bradshaw, the monster truck driver. So my mind was kind of blown growing up watching Damon Bradshaw drive monster trucks. Wait, he raced Supercross before? But anyway, we'll move on to our next host. He was at the MXGP of Italy this weekend, and I could tell from the way you joined our meeting before we started recording, you weren't a huge fan of the venue and the track this weekend, and it sounds like a few of the riders weren't as well, especially a certain MX2 points leader who I think is just ready to be in America full time at this point. But joining us from Cult Moto, live from the UK, Edward Heather. What's up, man? How are we doing? Talk a little bit about the venue because I've seen some mixed reactions and a lot of negative ones at that.
Well, the irony of talking about past eras of motocross, I just time traveled and went back to the early 2000s to watch round nine of the MXGP season. Now, I won't give any hate on the racing because it did provide some pretty action-packed racing, I'll give it that. However, I certainly wouldn't want to be riding that track, let alone racing it. It was a what's a polite way to put it? It was just a pile of dicks, to be honest. It wasn't ideal. It was bone dry. Admittedly, we're in a heat wave at the minute in Europe.
Yeah.
It's very, very hot. I don't know what
It
it
was
is
like
in Fahrenheit.
104 degrees Fahrenheit. I looked it up,
That's sounds
which is
sounds
a
about
lot.
right.
Yeah.
Yes, it was extremely, extremely hot, so I won't give the track crew too much hate because, well, a little bit of a slight on MXGP. Rumor has it the tap was left on Thursday, therefore the water sources were limited. Far from ideal. However, yeah, Montevarchi is certainly not on my bucket list. If any listeners out here want to find GPs to go to, one, I don't think you'll see Montevarchi back on the schedule. And if you do, avoid it like the plague because you will not enjoy your time. Like South Park reference, you're gonna have a bad time. But overall, Jack should be happy. There was some good racing for his boys. Farah's got another win. Vial was back. I mean, overall for the Stire Sound podcast, it was a pretty successful weekend all in all. But yeah,
Jan
man, I'm
Panzer
ready.
P2 in the quali race. Dude, vibes are high.
He's another example of someone we were speaking to him on Saturday after he gets P2, and he's saying how bad the track is. And for someone like Pankar to go and get P2 in a quali race is pretty remarkable. And if you can still say the track was bad, it kind of gives a general consensus of how low it was. Going over to America, Ben Town, he must be happy. He doesn't like the Hunter Lawrence slander, and he doesn't like the Cole Davies slander, and they both swept the motos collectively. So. BT, if somehow you're watching this, mate, if somehow this has come up on your Pokedex of podcasts and listens, we're holding it down.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, I'm now fully aboard the Cole Davies hype train. Maybe it's something to do with what he said to me on Friday in the pits, but dude, we'll go ahead and get into this with High Point. We'll start with the 250 class because the 450 class, as I mentioned at the top of the show, it was realistically the Hunter Lawrence show. He just went 1-1, dominated. 250 class, we start out the day in qualifying, and Cole Davies is fastest. And Friday, I walked into the pits. I really didn't get to make my rounds that I usually do until later in the afternoon after the WMX race was over. And I'm walking through, and all of a sudden I hear, yo. And I'm like, who just called me out? And it's Cole Davies in street clothes, which was already a jump scare because I'm so used to seeing him in either a Star Yamaha polo or riding gear. And I talked with Cole Davies for a second, and I asked him, I'm like, how are you feeling about the track, man? What are you feeling? He's like, dude, this place is sick. He's like, I can't wait to get out there. And of course, the Star guys didn't have press day. It was like Pro Circuit, Quad Lock, Phoenix, Gizmo. Those were the teams doing press. Star Yamaha guys are just there to kind of observe from the background. And he immediately was singing the praises of the track, and you could see that confidence a little bit. It's like, all right, this dude's ready to race. And then he goes out during the actual motos. The starts were there. First moto starts second or third, but his whole shot device is locked down, so he loses a few spots. As Jack said, Casey Cochran leading laps for the first time in a while on his Rockstar Husky. That was awesome to see. Casey led a few laps, I think four, and then Julian Beaumer got around him. Shout out to Julian as well because he's been riding very well this season. I think he's impressed a lot of people. And Juju took the lead. He thought, oh, maybe this is going to be his first moto win, but he goes and tucks it over the finish line. Cole Davies goes from sixth to second, and then with Beaumer down, he takes the lead. He stays poised, holds the top spot through the rest of the race, takes the Moto 1 win. Juju P2, Joe P3. Levi Kitchen tipped over early, but got back to, I want to say, sixth. Seth was P5. He was in the mix for a little bit, but the front guys were at a really good pace and he couldn't make up any ground. So it was still wide open going into the final moto of the day. And after the WMX race finished, the clouds were rolling in and they were dark, heavy storm clouds. I was getting deja vu to last year when the heavens opened up before the final 450 main and it just started pouring as they were revving their bikes on the gate. Thankfully, it was only sprinkles, really. We did get a little bit of rainfall, but nothing to really mess with the track, mess with the conditions. And I thought it was going to be the black cloud of weather. No, it was the black cloud rolling back over the PC truck, is what it actually was. Because we start out, Cole Davies, Caden Minear, the continent of Oceania just had an incredible weekend, by the way, because an Aussie wins the 450 class, a Kiwi wins the 250 class, and an Aussie wins WMX. I mean, just if you're from south of the equator, great weekend for you. We had the race start, Davies, Minear, Shimoda's fairly close up there, and Minear and Hammaker are battling for P2, I believe. Hammaker goes and jumps in toward the mechanics area and sort of Ryan Villapoto Trentino-esque, just the bike goes like that. Hammaker's thrown off the back of it. He hurries to the side of the track, grabbing his shoulder, takes a ride off the medical mule. Then Levi Kitchen starts about fifth, and then all of a sudden just puts the anchor down, drops to eighth. Ryder D gets by him. Mumford gets by him. Somebody else gets by him. It's like, what's happening there? Nick Romano has a terrible weekend. Goes 17-22, doesn't score points in the second moto because he was down early on. I mean, just when we think Pro Circuit Kawasaki, everything's good again. You know, Levi and Seth entered tied for the red plate. Nick had a podium. It's like, all right, Pro Circuit Kawasaki, we're back. And then all of a sudden, the cloud rolls back in. Up front, though, Davies was just cruising that second moto. He didn't really have to do a whole lot because he got the start and he just cruised out there. He was putting down great laps, had a nice little gap over Beaumer. 2-2 day for Juju. He was second overall on the podium. Great ride for him. And man, Minear played excellent defense on Joe Shimoda. Joe said on the podium, he's like, he was riding a really wide bike. And it went down to the final lap. Into the roller section, you had that tunnel jump before it. Joe slipped a bit, and that allowed Minear to get that breathing room he needed to secure his P3. Of course, Joe gets P3 overall on the podium. And now, of course, we'll be covering RedBud slightly this week. We'll be giving our predictions at the end of the show. We will be off next week because our boy Jack is going to go on a well-deserved vacation. But we go into RedBud, we're going to have four guys within 7 points of each other in the 250 class, which is insane. We get to start this middle portion of the season with a really close battle. And Seth, all things considered, if he's healthy and somehow able to go for RedBud, I still think he's in decent shape because he's only 16 back. You DNF a moto and go out early on, like lap two, and you're only 16 points behind. I don't think that's too bad in the grand scheme of things, but Levi is still the points leader. Then you have Joe -1, I think. Juju -2 or -3, and Cole Davies -7. It is all right there to play. The confidence is back from Cole Davies. He said his starts are back. He feels like himself again, which I think is very dangerous. And I also still go back to the point I made last week. We're coming up on Joe Shimoda's better stretch of tracks, whether it's this middle part of the season, and we know how good he was at the end part of last year, especially at Unadilla when he just wiped the floor with everybody. I think those two guys could really be poised. I know Levi's the red plate holder. I think Juju has been impressive, especially on the East Coast. That has been more of the question for his style. It's like, all right, he's led laps and been good on the West Coast. Can he do well on these East Coast rutted, deeper tracks? And at High Point, he had a fantastic day, and he put the gremlins of last year behind him when he had a crash by that mechanics area. But the 250 class is just wide open. There are so many talented guys in there. You rip a start, you got a chance to lead laps and to perform well. Casey Cochran did that. Caden Minear gets his first moto podium. There was a lot to unpack in that 250 class, but I really think that number 37 He's a guy like Hayden Deegan. You give him a little bit of confidence, and he is going to take that and then some. Cole Davies is looking dangerous. I still think Joe Shimoda's in really good shape as well because we haven't seen his best, and he's still right there hanging in there for the title. Levi Kitchen, we know he can win, but High Point was a bit of an off weekend. Granted, High Point's probably one of his worst tracks. You look through his results, only one overall podium there. But Jack, I'll send it over to you. So much to unpack from the 250 class. The points race is wide open. I know I'm hoping it stays like this for the whole year, and I think a lot of people are because, man, it has been chaos all year long, twists and turns, and now four racers within 7 points, five within 16.
Yeah, it's like I think we've been saying. I said every episode is it's still wide open, and I think it's going to be the first person to be able to put some momentum together and start building points and stacking points on their competition is going to be who I think ends up winning it. And kind of depending on when it happens, I feel like everybody's just kind of up and down, like super bouncy with the results. You have Joe winning last week, and now he gets third, and then Levi's in. I don't even know what he got, fifth overall. I think he got right. Hammaker obviously going down, and now Davies is winning, and Beaumair's been like right there, but isn't good enough to win. Like it's super weird. Just how like I wouldn't have guessed Beaumair to be that close. I wouldn't have guessed really Davies to be that close either. To be honest with you, like I maybe after Supercross, but Davies is going 1-1 in the fashion he did. It's very impressive. And then so yeah, it's been very interesting to watch from a fan's perspective of who's going to be able to be the first one to really get a grip on the championship because it feels like we almost have the same story in the 450 class where Jett finally isn't like the guy, and it's like it's really like what's going to happen, who's going to be the best, or who's going to take control first. So that's kind of the this whole situation. I think with the 250 classes, who really is going to take control first, and I think we can all kind of like look at everybody and look at where they're good at and where they're bad at and where they're going to falter. But it almost feels like home field advantage between Yamaha and Cowie because on the West Coast, Mitch Payton's over there on his side of the on his neck of the woods, and he knows what he's doing.
He's in
As
the
soon as
lab,
we move
dude.
east, those Star Boys start coming out to play, and it's good. So yeah, I just hope that Mitch Payton and those guys like Levi and Seth don't like hit the fader rate or the fall off mid season because I think they're both more than capable of winning a Supercross title, and I hope they can be able to add a motocross title to that resume. So it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, whoever wins, I feel like it's like motocross. The title isn't so like career altering, right? Like it is, but it isn't. It's great to win, but it doesn't like mean you have to move up the next year or something like that. So it's kind of one of those things. There's none of these guys have anything to lose if they do win. So it's like I think they're all going to go for it, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Couldn't agree more. There are so many variables still left. I mean, we still got 7 rounds to go, and that feels like, even though the first 4 rounds flew by, 7 rounds feels like an eternity with how this championship is really flipped on its head every single weekend. And I'll also add, of course, we'll make our RedBud predictions later. We're actually going to a track where Cole Davies has experience. He raced an MX Combine there. I know it's minimal experience, but still, High Point, his first time stepping foot on that racetrack and riding out was on Saturday morning in qualifying, which uh makes his performance even more impressive. But Ed, of course, I know you were in Italy. I don't know how frequently you were keeping tabs on action, but the 250 class, dude, it's all over the place. I know the MX2 class over in your land and MXGP has been like that at points this year, but in the 250 motos here in America, one guy wins, then another guy will win, one guy will have a crash, one guy will have a bad start. It's all over the place.
Yeah, like Jack said, there's so many swerve balls and random podium guys or people running up front and winners that I think heading into the season it would be a safe bet to assume it's Levi and Joe to sort of battle it out for the title, and then the rest of the guys sort of see what they can do and stack up. And despite the pair leading the points and only one between them, I feel like it doesn't feel like they've had the run of the mill at the moment. Momentum is going to be a huge thing, but why it's been so good is because no one's really managed to get it. It's really easy to believe for Cole to be off the blocks in RedBud. If Juju carries on this form and he gets his first win or whatever it may be, it keeps just throwing so many interesting variables. And now I kept an eye on the racing because of the, I'm not gonna lie, feeling like a proper casual fan. Saw the Deegan beef, thought I'm definitely making sure I'm awake to see what happened, which we'll get to in a moment, which nothing really happened. But overall, 250 motocross in pro motocross is unbelievable. No disrespect to Davies. I feel like you guys were already giving him his flowers, and he was unreal. Like I'm more than impressed, more than surprised with how good he's been this season, especially in High Point. But I never expected Beaumer to be, I mean, on his way to win a moto. And to be honest, he wasn't really like everyone gives him a bit of slack, say like ruts, like in Supercross, that he can't really ride the deep stuff. And then you go to High Point, and I mean, you have your best outdoor ride
You
for your
proved us
career.
wrong,
So
dude.
exactly. Everyone is proving it, all of us idiots wrong at the moment. And it's just to wait to see who can string. I mean, a weekend off don't help, but who can string two overalls in a row, or who can really capitalize when there's a big another DNF, let's say Levi or Joe or even Cole or Juju. If they had a DNF, who can really capitalize? And I feel bad for Seth because I have a soft spot for that man. He's like a mini Faulkner to me. I feel like he's just a magnet to injuries and a magnet to misfortune, and that is emphasized with him doing the RV in Trentino,
Mm.
but just with the PC curse on it, it's got to be a little bit worse. The bike's got to rip him off the back even worse, and hopefully he'll be coming out swinging in RedBud. He's probably the only person that's happy that has a weekend off. Everyone else, I bet they just want to sink their teeth into it and carry on racing because when you've started so strong, I mean, why would you not want to carry that on? So fingers crossed for the number 10, and he ruined my prediction. So thanks, mate.
I had him at the top step of the podium as
Yeah,
well, but predictions have been hit or miss all year.
yeah,
And going back to your point, I mean, there are so many guys, like you mentioned. Cochran leads laps this week. I mean, you think back to some of these other rounds, like Nick Romano running up front gets
yeah.
the podium at Thunder Valley, but I like it when these guys try to prove us wrong because realistically, that should be our job. Obviously, we report on the results, we see what's happening out there, and we make judgments and assumptions. But for these guys to go out there and prove us wrong, that's personally what I want to see. I'm like, all right, like, thank you. Like, we want to see you improve, we want to see you do well, but history sometimes leads us to believe otherwise. And for those guys to go out there and prove us wrong, especially like Julian Beaumer, I like seeing that. So good on you, Juju, for your great performance. Congratulations to Cole Davies once again. Also, I'll throw out there just real quick. I mentioned it on the Transworld Motocross recap show. Go watch that if you would like as well. But Deacon Dino Moto 2 might have been the most hilarious thing I've ever seen because it seemed like every couple laps he would come by, something would be missing. So he goes by, he's down on the start, he comes back, and his back fender is bent up like a NASCAR spoiler. So you have that already. A few laps later, he comes back by, his rear plate on the left side is dangling. Then a few laps later, he comes by, he has no visor, and the plate is gone. And then toward the end of the race, he comes by, there's no seat on his bike at all. The rear fender is gone. He's riding a subframe and a front fender, basically. The visor's gone, just wild looking. And it's like, this dude's got to pull in. Like, he can't risk it anymore. He ends up pulling it in. But for us fans watching up there, it was like every couple times he would come around, something else would be missing. And we would just laugh and be like, oh man, what's happening to this dude? Because we never saw anything. But there's a lot of great stuff. Shout out to Carson Mumford. Hey, I had a great Moto 2 ride after a Moto 1 DNF. 450 class, we can probably keep it a bit briefer because Hunter Lawrence just flat out dominated. And we talked after Paula, we're like, well, he's good and he gets these great starts, but it was like Jett started eighth or ninth or somewhere around there in both motos. It's like, what can they do when they're together? Well, we got that answer in Moto 2. Moto 1 was a bit of deja vu from Paula. Of course, the only other round I've been to this season. I'm like, whoa, Hunter P1, Jorge P2, Jett and Hayden like eighth and ninth. I was getting serious flashbacks to Paula. It was almost the same scenario. Jett ends up pushing his way up to second. Hayden only gets fourth. He's not able to get around Prado. But then we go to the final moto of the day. Lawrence's start side by side. Jett absolutely sends it into the rollers. He does the what I call the tie master pool line of jumping the tunnel into the first roller consistently. And then they're side by side, but Hunter never wavers and he just takes off and he leaves Jett. I know in the press conference, Jett said he was a bit uncomfortable in some areas, and he said he's never been super comfortable at a high point, even though he's won there a lot, which is interesting to me. And also, Jett almost threw it away. They didn't show it on the broadcast, but they had that uphill triple before the big left-hand sweeper that led to the quad, and there were guys crashing there all day long. Realistically, Derek Kelly crashed there, brought out the Red Cross flag, broken humerus, heal up DK. Hope to see you back on track soon. Benny Bloss was Superman off the bike, holding on, like watching a 6'7" dude go full Superman mode is crazy in itself. And then he hit the bank, and the bike just blew him off of it, and then the bike front flips into the spectator fence. Blue fender goes flying. One of the wildest incidents I've ever seen. But Jett in the second moto, and he describes it in the press conference. I'll let him do the describing for you. You can go check that out later. But I believe he spun off the face of it, and Jett just starts pitching it sideways to the left. You can't see it do it this way. It's weird because my thing is backwards for this show, but he started pitching to the left, and he looked like he was going to start to nosedive in the dirt, but somehow he saved it. I'm like, man, his season just flashed before his eyes. But the story of the weekend is Hunter Lawrence. Just when we think Jett Lawrence is going to be getting that points lead increased, of course, he won back to back at Hangtown, back to back at Thunder Valley. And once again, like Supercross as well, we would say it, we would start to figure it out. We'd have 2 weeks where we're like, all right, Hunter Lawrence has it in the bag, or Eli Tomac has it in the bag, and then the next week something crazy would happen, and it would flip on its head again. Now all of a sudden, Jett goes from up 8 to up 2 because Hunter puts in the great performance. Of course, we get a little bit of beef sighting. I watched Hayden pull out in front of Jett, and I'm like, oh, this isn't going to go over well on his fast lap at the end of Q1. And of course, Jett goes and roosts the crap out of him. And as he said in the press conference, he put it, he was like, I was just cleaning my rear tire. It spins better without mud in it. And of course, Jett goes down Q2. He's fine. He's all right. Hayden says something, chirps at him when he goes by. Jett gives him the old Falcon salute, the old West Virginia howdy, the old Stone Cold Steve Austin, whatever you want to call it. He told Hayden Deegan he was his number one competitor out there. Hunter Lawrence, though, what a performance, what a showing. And there are several other guys who had great showings as well. I want to say shout out to AP and Garrett Marchbanks. Those guys never quit. Those guys have gas tanks. AP had an amazing battle with Jorge Prado that was really fun to watch at the end of that 450 moto, and he ended up getting him in that second moto. But your overall podium, again, no surprise really, just a slightly different order. Hunter, Jett, Hayden, Jack, I'll go ahead and send it over to you. Hunter Lawrence has been incredible all season long. He's been the most consistent, fast guy all season. Of course, Kenny not racing outdoors. Eli had his struggles and he's been injured. Jett missed all of Supercross, but Hunter Lawrence has been in that fight all season long for the win.
Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of all expected that. Really, I don't think that's unexpected or uncharacteristic of what we all expected. I think knowing Jet's been hurt, and I think he's a little nuts. I still don't think Jet's 100%. But this 450 class, man, they're all getting better. I really do feel like that, and I think Jorge adds another dynamic to and Deegan. They like it wasn't like before. You kind of just had like last season. You really just had like Tomac, Hunter, Jett, and Chase when he was not on the ground. So it's very like now we have some good dudes that are like betterly overall. AP seems to be coming into form as well. So it's like very interesting to see how these guys react. I still am waiting for the day that Deegan starts in front of Jett because I feel like we haven't seen it yet. I mean, we saw two corners of Deegan in front of Jett at Paula, and then Deegan, and then Jett passed him back. So yeah, but I think this is his schedule for Hunter Lawrence. I think he was planning on being in this spot and winning races and being able to compete for this championship alongside his brother. And I don't think Deegan really is in it anymore. I think it's going to be between Jett and Hunter. I mean, obviously anything can happen in these next seven races. So that'll be interesting to see how like the consistency of these three guys really go. If any of them have a bad moto, I think it could be detrimental to their championship. So that's really going to be the key for these all three of these guys. And Hunter looks so good this weekend. I think we can see more of that. I think the start is everything. If these guys aren't in the top five and one of the title competitors is, you can probably bet that you're not going to beat that guy that moto. So that's going to be that's really I think where we can hone in on is like that first 2 to 3 laps of where do you end up after the second lap. If you're not inside the top three, it doesn't look very good for you. To be completely fair with you, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see because it's just there's no slouches, man. It's not like Deegan is finding out very quickly this is not the 250 class, and these guys are not easy to just go around. So that's just for me what I kind of analyzed from this weekend is it seems like to schedule for Jett and Hunter to be back and forth a little bit, and between the two of those, whoever can kind of put together multiple 3 to 4 weekends in a row of good results will be interesting. And then when the Coenens come back, if they do come back, it'll be even more interesting with Lucas in there, especially at a track like Southwick. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what my analysis is from this weekend. I think it's going to be it's all about those first 2 laps and being in the top 5 off the start to have a chance to win.
I think Deegan had a great ride second moto where he went up and caught and passed Prado because it seems like there's been times where he's just been kind of alone in his spot, so you don't really get to see what he's going to be able to do and find his way around. And then he works on him and he gets the pass, and I think it was a great sign. It's like, all right, Deegan knows what it takes to get the pass done, to get the job done. But that's something I was going to bring up and didn't, the Coonans, because you have a pair of guys who could not only steal a bunch of points at Southwick and maybe Ironman later in the year if it goes down to the wire, but I think they're going to take the wins at Southwick. They're going to be stealing a big chunk of points from these championship contenders and really spoiling the party. Ed, your quick thoughts on the 450 race at High Point with Hunter Lawrence taking the 1-1 win?
Yeah, it just kind of enforces how important track position is. I feel like without all the hype that he's put on himself, Hayden's had an unreal start to the season, to be honest, to be able to catch and pass Prado and sort of just establish yourself as the third best guy in the class, even though he'd probably take that as an insult, is pretty remarkable. I'll give him that. However, it's hard to give him his flowers when his behavior is a lot louder than the results. The second motor from him was really impressive, to be honest. I think, am I right in thinking he did this far? He was the fastest man on track towards the end, and he's reeling in
Yes.
Jett a little bit.
Yeah, he
Like
said his
that,
fastest lap with like 3 to go.
yeah, that just shows how good you are. It shows how comfortable you are. I think it's just a matter of time before he figures it out. He gets out the gate, and then that's going to be the most interesting factor. But you can't take away from Hunter to be able to more in Moto 2 to just have Jett right there and just still break away from him and kind of do what Jett does to everyone else is get a good 5 to 7 second gap and then just ride at that pace. It's unbelievable. There's never been a time in history where two brothers are going to be probably swapping moto wins arguably for the remainder of the season with maybe the likes of Hayden or maybe Prado jumping in there and getting one. But I think these boys are just going to be locking out 1 and 2 for most of the weekends. Shout out AP, he was unreal. To be fair, like I kind of low key forgot about him. Like no offense, feel like he's just had a bit of a so-so year, and for him to boy up my man Prado, little bit gutting. Watching that in the Airbnb in Montevarchi, wasn't impressed with Jorge. But no, it was pretty good. I'm sorry, I feel like I've got a rush here. We're limited on time. Shout out
It's all
Charli
good.
boys as well. Both of them in the top
Smitty had a
10.
good ride, dude. I was
He's
impressed
not
with
an
Smitty.
outdoor guy, is he? Like he's never been an
No.
outdoor guy in 250s. So for him to get ninth in the first race, then finish overall in the top 10, first time two trying to finish inside the top 10 in the Premier class, not a bad day, is it? But yeah, I feel like the Lawrence brothers are going to be running the overalls between them here to Ironman. But the Coenens are so upset with Montevarchi. I thought little old Sasha was going to cry in my arms when I interviewed him in Montevarchi, and maybe somewhen today there could be a press release coming out about their plans in 2027, which
Hmm.
might not be in
Hmm.
Europe, but that I don't know. I'm just don't shoot the messenger.
I don't think we expect them back in Europe. Let's be real, Ed. Let's be
Yeah,
Nah,
real.
they're not gonna go back,
that's
brother.
not
I
happening.
feel like I, yeah, I can say that. When we were speaking with Lucas on Friday, he was like, "I wish I never come back. Why have I come back to this?" So there you go. I
And
think
he's
they're over
he's
it,
leading the points by like 50 something too,
and he's
which
just
is insane.
over it. He's just like, "Nah, I'm
But
good. Then take me to High Point."
quick shout out to some of Ed's privateer guys as well. Valentin Guillot, top 10. I'm sure you were stoked on that. I
Yes,
talked to
sir.
Val on press day. He's feeling better. Cleveland Supercross track or crash was brutal. He's feeling better. He said he was very lucky to get away from that with his relatively minor injuries as he did. And then also Jack Chambers, first career 450 points, 21-18. I know Jack Chambers is a favorite of the Cult Boys, so
He's
shout
the
out to
man.
Jack getting his first 450 points. There's a lot of guys performing well in the 450 class that were a bit surprising. Of course, Jack's guy Cartwheel got in there. Jace Kessler, both the Michigan boys in the motos. But this has been the first part of our episode. We will be back. I'll briefly talk about the WMX moto at the start of the next part of our episode. And of course, Ed will give his thoughts and his observations from the MXGP of Italy in Montevarchi. Thank you so much for tuning in to episode number 45 of the Stire Sound. And as the card says, we'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Thank you once again for joining us today. Episode number 45 of the Stire Sound, celebrating our 1 year anniversary. We've just recapped most of the High Point National. I'll briefly run down the WMX racing. Shout out to Mayla Herrick. She turned pro. She turned 17 on Friday. And what a flawless first moto and first professional moto here in the States for her, because she ripped an incredible hole shot. She was probably about a bike length ahead of the field. Van Drunen got to P2. Lachlan Turner was battling some illness, and she climbed to P3 early on, but Herrick had a nice gap. Van Drunen and Turner, they started to reel her in by the end of the race, but Herrick stayed poised out front. She maneuvered through lap traffic very well, and she scores the win in her first ever moto, which was very impressive. I think a lap or two more, Van Drunen and Turner were going to be knocking on the door, but a very fun to watch moto on Friday. You also had battles throughout the pack. Liliane Pettis and Jamie Astudillo were absolutely throwing down for eighth place. They were switching lines. They were making passes, repasses, passes again. It was a great scrap. Then on Saturday, unfortunately, Herrick goes down at the very start of the moto. A lot of people thought she broke her femur, but thankfully that was not the case. She was mainly just beaten up, bruised. She does have a concussion, but sounds like she'll be good to go for both Loretta's and, of course, the WMX season when it resumes at Unadilla in August. But after the restart, Charli Cannon had the lead before the red flag, and it's like this is her opportunity because Lachlan Turner was caught in that start pileup, and then it restarts, and Lala gets out front, and it's like, oh, this is over. But 2 laps to go, going up one of the uphill sections in the back of the track by the tree, Turner cross ruts, goes down. Cannon takes the lead, and somehow, with 5-1 scores, not somehow because it's a tiebreaker, but Charli Cannon wins her first overall here in the United States. Shout out to her. There were so many birthdays this weekend, dude. Charli turned 21 on Wednesday or Thursday. Taylor McCutcheon had a birthday on Saturday. Herrick had a birthday on Friday. Devin Simonson had a birthday on Saturday. It was birthday weekend in motocross land. But shout out to Charli Cannon for her first overall win. Lachlan Turner doesn't lose any points, and she was sick, but 3-2. She was phenomenal. She might not have been at 100%, but she was very close riding ability wise. Lots of Van Drunen gets the second spot or the third spot on the podium. Some solid racing, a new winner. The points is still fairly close, even though Charli didn't gain any. 9 points, I believe, still the gap from Lachlan Turner to Cannon. Just wanted to shout out the ladies of WMX. They ripped. Great show this weekend. It'll be fun to watch the rest of the season. And now we'll move to the MXGP of Italy in Montevarchi. And Edward Heather, I'll toss it over to you so you can keep talking up this beautiful facility that you were at this weekend and how great the conditions were in Italy. Very hot there this weekend. But Jeffrey Hurlings gets the win in the MXGP class. Very strong ride from the Bullet. And then in the MX2 class, Sasha Coonan, and this is a weird sentence, used consistency to win the MX2 class. 2-2. He did win a single moto. The Triumph boys split the moto. Jack's guy Guillaume Perez gets it done moto 1. Camden McClellan moto 2. But Sasha was consistent at 2-2 day. The other guys were switching places, swapping around. Go ahead and give us your thoughts and your observations from the MXGP of Italy this weekend, which you don't believe will be back in Montevarchi next year.
No, we can all hope and we can all pray that the FIM Motocross World Championship has not got a serious deal coming across for this championship to return next year. However, like I said at the beginning, despite all the negatives of the facility and everything in between, it actually provided some pretty good racing, and it was a very unique track in comparison to what they've been racing. Outside of the sand rounds, it's being rut cross times 10. Like Tuchental and France, for example, were far away from what we saw in Montevarchi. Jeffrey Herlings needed to get a win. He needed
Yeah,
just I spoke to him after the
absolutely.
race, and he's basically saying to me that he just wants to keep getting his record bigger and bigger. And then if something happens to Lucas, then perfect. He's in a perfect situation for it to happen. But he also did touch on and saying he doesn't really want that to happen. He wouldn't want to win the title, God forbid, Lucas has an injury or whatever it may be. He basically needs to hope that the orange machine has a couple of technical difficulties, which I mean, it's motocross is why we all tune in every weekend. It is a high probability, but I think the one person who's leaving Montevarchi kicking the huge dust storms that were there is Tim Geiser because he got
Oh
caught up with
man.
Renault like what, one or two corners in. It could even be in the first corner.
Uh,
I can't quite remember now. His front wheel was cooked. I don't know if you saw the
there were so
photo of
many
it, but
people in there because the Dalmo was right there too and hit him,
yeah,
and somebody else was in there, but poor Tim, man.
yeah,
He dominated the qualifying race too, and then Moto 2, he goes out there and just cruises, and it's like, man, well, after he ran a Dalmo off the track, but
yeah. It was a little bit bittersweet for him because although he won two of the three races across the weekend, he's off the box. There's nothing to hang his hat on really. His teammate got on the box for the second time of the season, which I'll get to in a minute. But yeah, Tim Geiser is definitely going to be looking at this Grand Prix as one that got away from him, and it's a little bit of a kick in the teeth for him. I know the title fight is in question at the minute. The word fight is a little bit of a far stretch. Like we're kind of just waiting for something to happen, ideally to Lucas's bike, where he's sitting there and maybe he can't race. Speaking of Lucas, the consistent Coenens, I'm going to call them now because they both were just steady. They're both
yeah,
sulking through their
just like we always
teary-eyed and
predict.
anger. Yeah, just like we always know that Coonans are going to ride it easy on tough tracks and not take any risks. But I think what Lucas was 3-3 for second. I mean, this season seems to be going up his way regardless. He did nothing really impressive for his standards. Time practice, he was way, way off it. He said that it was all about survival that weekend and he surrendered 7 points to Jeffrey. In the grand scheme of things, he could afford there's still two motos at the minute, and he still have the red plate mounted to his Ryan Dungey European spec machine. Maxime Renault admitted after the race that he's been battling a virus for many weeks now, and he was waiting for a good day to say it because he didn't want to use it as an excuse. And I think it was a telling tale that the virus caught up with him a little bit in race two because race one, his pace was immense. Dare I say, I thought he was going to pass Jeffrey Herlings, which not many people can do that. And it was a very French/Italian style tracks. I think that's why you saw the best out of Maxime and even Tim. I mean, if you ever seen Tigerland on a summer's day, it's that track, but with like 150-foot tabletops and step ups and triples and stuff. Adamo, probably not best pleased with Geyser. He used a bit of body Slovenian to get him out of the way in
Yeah.
race two, but I think Tim had the pace, and that was Adamo's first whole shot since Arnhem last year in the MX2 days. So it gave the Italian
Home
crowd
crowd for him
something to
too, I
cheer
think.
about. Yeah, I mean there was like you had Latta that lives 2 hours away. I know in America that's up the road, but in Europe that's still kind of far away. Like if you live 2 hours away, we're stopping halfway and having a drink. But Latta lives 2 hours away. Zanki lives like an hour away. Adamo, I mean, as long as one of the countrymen are doing well, the crowd are going to go crazy. We're not picky. We're definitely not picky on who we're going to cheer for. Like in England, we're cheering for like I would say Conrad Mewes, but he's not even turning up to Fox Hills, which is another debate in itself. Another rider that rode really, really well on MXGP was Calvin Verlanderen. I spoke to him
Yeah.
on Friday,
P4 Moto
kind
1,
of like
solid.
kind of like treading on eggshells. I was like, "You all right, mate? Like, how we been? Everything all right?" Because beforehand, he's been voicing his discomfort with the Desmo 450. However,
Mm.
he was open and honest, said his weeks of testing after Latvia were really solid. And I was thinking, yeah, I feel like you're just saying that. And he backed it up. He was solid all weekend, had really, really good pace. And race two was not quite going to cut the mustard for him because of even though people might not look at Volanderen as a podium guy, he's a GP winner on a privateer bike before. Like he's certainly good enough to be putting his name in the hat for top 10. Sorry, top three. And going into the MX2 class, them Triumphs are so, so good. Like, dare I say, the best bike there. I don't know what they've done to them. I remember speaking to Camden in Spain after he won his first Grand Prix, and He was very cautious of his words, but they kind of reinvigorated that whole bike and the whole package. And the aim is basically to get the pair of them off the starts, and they kind of swapped it. Barry's got off the start in the first race. Well, no, he actually kind of come through, but his pace all
Did.
weekend was silly, like unreal. Even in the quali race, pace was unbelievable. And then Cam worked his way through on race two. I think it was a four rider battle for a good while before Cam got in the lead, where you had
Yeah.
Sasha, Cam, Valin, and Liam Everts, who also finally had a bit of a ride that was flash of his true potential, because this year has been one that he's probably wanted to forget thus far. Despite battling an ankle injury, I feel like he still would admit that it's been a little bit of a far cry from himself. The qualifying race, though, did we see, speaking of Italians, the TM Andrea, gonna butcher your last name, mate, Uccellini? Did you see that guy? One story about him? He's from the EMX 125 class, never rated 250 in his life. But I don't need to do EMX 250 like a real man would say, because it's what we need to see. Jumps up, rips a start on a TM, which is like
Best bike
no one.
branding on God's green earth. Best
Yeah,
bike
if
brand
you
in the
like
world,
video
TM.
games, we can all like TMs. If you like
I
high
love
performance
TMs, man.
motorcycles that are four strokes, TM are probably not on your shopping list. Two strokes, however, they're pretty bad boy. But no, that was sick as well. He then, despite going from second to 14th in the quali race, gave it a fist pump over the over the finish line, flat landed, wadded so bad, was
Oh
out for
no, that's
Sunday's
why he
action.
crashed. I knew he was
Yeah,
a DNS. I'm like, what happened to the TM guy? Oh, not his
yeah,
celebration gone bad.
gave it one of them, and it was a recipe for disaster. He had a soil sample of the stones and flint and whatever they put, the hardcore from the building site that they put on that track. And
Granite.
ironically, works out quite well for him. He's racing the Junior World Championships in a couple of weeks, and you can't do that if you had World Championship points. So basically, he's dipped his toe in,
Ah,
showed everyone that he's pretty good, and then thought, I'll just do my ACL. I'll just full circle moment. I'll just go and write myself off, and yeah, basically just put myself in put myself in a bad old way. But Maxi Grau, the Maddie Honda team were literally in tears. I don't know if you saw the video on Instagram
I
after they
saw
got eight.
them. I was like, why are they so happy? I mean, I feel like that's a decent result for them, and I know they used to do the FANUC program in EMX, but I'm like, eighth, and you're that happy?
I know, and I feel like Grau's been better than eighth at some rounds. Like he's rode better than eighth. Like he's had pace to be fringe top five. So maybe they were just happy they piece it together. I'm not here to hate. I'm here to. I'm loving everyone. If you're happy, I'm happy. Another privateer who's basically on a factory bike, Mikula or Mikula. I don't
Yeah,
actually know the
man.
best way to pronounce his name. He was unreal again. Little bit of an insight. Dare I say he was at a team truck when I'm waiting for a certain Grand Prix winner of the weekend regarding a ride. It could be a red and blue bike. All I'm saying, he was there, he was loitering
I'm
around. I asked him for an
let's go,
interview.
dude. I've been on the Mikula train all year long. He rode a TM last year, which was the first time he caught my eye. I'm like, oh, this guy's on a TM. I like this guy. But hey, man, he's been running top 10 a lot this year. He's been putting in some
He's
great rides.
he's been really, really good, and it's definitely been noticed. And when I asked him for an interview, it was like catching a criminal that's escape prison, because I feel like he didn't want anyone to know where he was, and he had to ask his team manager who was there, and I was like, oh, I can kind of guess what you're doing. I'm not filming it. So if you ever notice in my interviews that the same place Jeffrey Hearn's had his interviews, the same place that Julius did, then you maybe can piece it together. The
Hmm.
Langenfelder wheels are well and truly off. There's definitely an underlying issue there. There's no way he's dropping from second to like 12th in race two.
Yeah.
He's got his starts a lot more dialed now, which I
He got
think was a
passed by
little bit
like
of an issue.
five guys on lap one. Just
Yeah, like
rocked.
he got to pit lane and he went from second to seventh. Like, how can you do that in not even a fifth of a lap? But it's, dare I say, if this continues, we might put this title defense in a Geordie Tixier category where they
I
haven't quite
I mean, he's got
haven't.
a couple wins
Mm.
early in the season, but dude, yeah.
Yeah,
Tixier
but
is
the
like the
thing,
benchmark for
yeah, but Tixier like shouldn't have won the title anyway. So I
yeah,
feel like he was
true.
playing with house money. Simon won that title fair and square, and then has just turned into
Falling off a
Geordie
cliff.
Tixier, which is a little bit of a kick in the nuts. But overall, I don't. want to ever go back to Montevarchi, nor do the riders. I do welcome some hard pat tracks though. If that's going to create that racing where I think some of the guys said in the press conference, you find your own grip or make your own grip, and it's all about technique of riding the bike rather than just getting a start, riding the one main line where it all funnels into the inside, then I welcome it. But I don't welcome everything else that come up with Montevarchi. I'm trying to brainstorm if there's anyone else that jumped off the page for me. Ah, Duro, he was there. Debut, MXGP
Yeah,
debut.
Cameron
Shout
Duro.
out Duro. He was in the mix. Got nothing negative to say about him because he was in a seriously stacked class, a seriously stacked championship, and he was there. His girlfriend, or yeah, I assume it's his girlfriend 'cause he's quite young. As his mechanic, saw her throwing that bike around in the wash bay, getting under it, jet washing it off. I mean, maybe I'll take my words back a little bit, and I realise that all in all, his 12th for the British Championship was pretty solid. So as a man, I'm gonna face the criticism and go, I was a little bit wrong on Duro. He's a great guy. He's a great guy, isn't he? He's a lovely guy. But nah, it's just a typical GP weekend, and now even more emphasis goes towards, like I was seeing on Twitter, someone reposted one of our interviews, and like everyone's lighting up MXGP, like, oh, all the Americans now want to come, Europeans want to come to America. Like that's literally been the goal for every European racer now on. Maybe not to go there full time, but if you ask any European racer, where would be your dream championship? They'd all say America. It's the American dream. Hence why at any given moment, any of them will go over there. And there, unfortunately, due to a crash in time practice in MXGP, we might not see another European who is planning on making a trip over to Southwick in a couple of weeks. It looks like that is going to be off the cards.
That's
Can't really say
sad,
no
man.
more
I was
because I
looking
think
forward
I'll
to
get
that.
a punch in the lips as he told me word for word. But yeah, it's a little bit of a spanner in the works because I think that would fly under the radar a little bit with the Coenens going in there, and that really could have separated the points in 450s like big time. That would push your Lawrence off the box for sure. So yeah, that is a rundown of a very hot, sweaty, no service, no Wi-Fi, no water, no refrigerator, no food, Montevarchi. It's great.
Sounds like an amazing place. Bring back Majora. Jack, any quick thoughts on MXGP? I mean, shout out to Ed for his coverage there. Of course, he's there at the MXGPs every weekend, telling us the good, the bad, the ugly, everything in between. But I just checked the MXGP entry list for this weekend because they're actually already up and only 26 and 23 per their respective classes for Agueda this
23
weekend.
is crazy.
Portuguese Motocross of Nations legend Luis Altero is in the MXGP class entered, and in MX2, Ben Musto is on the entry list again, whether he races or not. Don't know, but he is on the list at
I'm
least.
gonna message
Jack,
him.
any quick observations or thoughts from the MXGP race this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, it was Montevarchi was interesting. I mean, I just watched the highlights of it, and like I just saw people talking shit about it on like Twitter and stuff. So that was interesting. But I just wish we could combine Guillaume and Camden McClellan and put them in the same body at the same time. I
Fusion
feel like
dance.
you'd have the best 250 rider in the world if you did that. So. But no, it's good to see the Triumph guys up there, and Gillen obviously getting a moto win looked good for me for a little while, and then you got what you got, I think fourth or fifth, right? Second moto.
Fifth, yeah.
Yes, it's
Looking for Tom Vial to come back alive too. He's been I don't know what the hell he's doing anymore. He's just hanging out, I guess.
I mean, he
whoa,
was
whoa,
gone
whoa.
for a few weeks, so
He said to us,
let's
which
respect.
I don't know if this makes sense. I broke two ribs, nearly three. How do you nearly break one of them? Like, how do you, what? I'm not a doctor. I'm just looking
That
for
is
some
a
insight.
good question. I don't know how you nearly break a rib either.
Maybe cracked it. I don't know.
Ah, that's good. That's good. This is why
Maybe.
this
Huh?
trio works well because we can
Yeah.
fill in the
The
gaps here.
synergy, man. The synergy.
No, but I mean, I think Tom will be back to normal if like after a couple more weeks.
Yeah.
But it was kind of funny to see like the Coonins in like a jet lag state almost. Like they weren't even trying. It felt like.
I want to go
No,
back home. America.
Sasha's like, yeah, man, I'll just ride in for second. Like, Sasha, why don't you do that fucking shit more often? Know what I mean, like,
Yes, yeah, but all in all, he still extended his points lead.
no,
Like,
I know
Yeah,
that's
he
what's
I
did.
don't get
crazy.
how it.
He
I
goes
don't
and
get
gets the
how
overall.
he's had like it's not like a shocker to say he's given up a lot of points before. But how is he in this position? It's crazy. I feel like the
I think because the other
qualifying
guys are like
races,
that. The other guys are like
yeah,
that
and the
too.
quali races, he's won what, like five of them, I think it is now. But overall, at 5 of 9, I mean, that's 50 points he's got there.
Yeah,
Just
but
nice and smooth Sasha Kunin, like we all say. I
Mate,
mean,
it's what
it's
we just basically need to put him on a freeway, and he that's when Sasha looks and goes, "Oh, this is risky. Like I'm at risk of crashing here. I'm going to stop because you put him on any other terrain, it's full chat, full gas." But yeah, that GP track. Never go back to it. I'd
I
love to
can't wait to
see
see Sasha on a supercross track, dude. Whoops will be gnarly, dude.
I was
keep
just
me
talking with
away
my
from it.
buddies last night. I was talking with Jerem and Jaden. I'm like, I want to be in Angel Stadium next year, the first time Sasha Kunin hits a set of whoops.
I want to
I
be in
want to
Rose
be
Ed
there.
though. Like, get me away. Like, I'll watch, but I don't want to be in a vicinity where a bike could hit
Yeah,
me because I
yeah.
reckon anyone
Good
from the
point.
bottom stand,
He'll just click
50
up the
rows
fifth and
up,
just
yeah, yeah. Imagine he
he
just is
might fly
like,
off the back. He might just flip over,
imagine he's
over.
like Cole Davies through the whoops. Like, this is just, it hones his whole skills and his
Maybe,
ability. But,
maybe he just flies through them. Who knows? But
well, he's a little guy. I feel like the little legs don't work for the leverage of getting through
no.
a set of whoops. You look at the notoriously good whoop guys, they're not little stature, are they?
I will say briefly before we move on toward our predictions and stuff that it's so funny to me how vastly different Triumph is. You look at MX2 and Triumph is putting together a phenomenal year. Perez and McClellan have both won overalls, both won several motos. And then over here in America, Triumph 250 program right now is like ugh, not looking great, perhaps. I mean, we've got some inexperienced guys like Deacon Dino, he's over there. He's a rookie. He's still trying to work his way forward, but it's funny to me sometimes how vastly different things are. I mean, I think last year as well, like Fevra wins the chip and Prado's qualifying 43rd at Buds. So funny sometimes to see how different the bike brands
That
are.
rule though is everything. I really do think that like they can do anything they want to that motorcycle, and that I mean,
Yeah.
I think if you gave Chase that opportunity, like he would be able to figure it out on Cowie, which I think that rule should be applicated to American motor. Like I think it should be like a thing. I think you should be able to
Interesting.
ride 28s, 20S7s. Like you don't have to be limited to the stock bike. I mean, I like the rule to an extent, but at the same time, it's like I don't know. I want to see all these guys being able to pull out all the strats of like what they can, what can Chase do with the motorcycle he doesn't have any like restrictions on. And then it like makes the brands look better, even though it's not the bike you're actually gonna ride. But it makes Kawasaki. Like if Chase was winning on a Kawasaki right now, I guarantee you, green bike sales would go up. So that's just my
Play
thought
devil's advocate
process.
though. If you give them free reign, no hate comms on Chase, but you give a rider like Chase complete, just do whatever, maybe they get even more lost. You don't
Yeah,
know
but
that.
that's at that point. Then it's like, all right, well, you shot your own foot. So then we can all
Yeah,
realistically not blame Cowie. It's like Cowie's like, we're letting you do
yeah,
whatever you want, bro. Like this
yeah,
ain't
that's
on us,
true.
dog. It's on you. So that's kind of what I think would be good. But I think it would like take some of the gap away from like the bike. Like obviously Star feels like they're way up here on like power. Like it feels like the name of the game right now in America is power, and Europe it's like everything in between. It's set up because the power over there is different. Like it's not as good.
Mm, yeah, that's true.
So
And like they like, I feel like you said in America, it's all about power and getting the fastest bike, but because there's little to no restrictions in Europe, they kind of everything's as important, so you don't just get
yeah,
lost on one thing. You're trying to make everything like good
yeah,
enough, you know.
yeah. That's what I think. But that's just the side quest of the day, I guess.
I'll ask Luongo, see if we can change some rules. We get the AMA over. We have a call. We have a Zoom call. It'll be limited in time, but we'll have a Zoom
Yeah,
call.
we'll
We'll
get
see if we
one.
can get it
We'll get
figured.
one. I'm down.
This is awesome, man. We got MXGP again this weekend in Agueda in Portugal coming right up. Gonna be fun to
Great
see. I
track.
checked the RedBud entry list. I agree. I love that track as well. Check the entry list for RedBud really quick. Obviously, that will be next weekend, not this weekend upcoming, but we will not be doing a show next week. And obviously, very early on the entry list, but there were still a couple names. Christian Janik on the 250 entry list. Remember that name? That was pretty
Hometown.
interesting to see. And then Mark Finnis in the 450 class. That's who's going to be dethroning the Lawrence brothers. Shout out Mark Finnis, though. Hope he's doing well. And now I shall share my screen. This is our predictions. And high point, we all did relatively the same, although Ed did take the lead very
Oh,
briefly. He had the Lawrences
Jesus.
in the proper order.
Oh, look
We
at
had them
that.
backwards. Still very close. I mean, 110, 105, 95. Very close. None of us got the random spot. Ed was the closest with Harlan. He was 20th instead of 18th. None of us were really close other than that. Your guy, Fappanini, as you called him, did score a point
I
in the first
know.
moto.
Fappanini Chapanini, mate. Pulling out of the bag with a 21st. Go on the
And
man.
then
Go on the.
in Italy, we all had 30
Oh,
points, so nothing has changed over there at all. I had Kuhn and Perez in the right order. Geiser, man, Jack had Geiser
yes.
winning. Moto 1 plays out differently. There's a real chance that Jack would
Yeah.
have gained some more points because Timmy was looking really, really good. And that is part of why I picked him. But all right, RedBud, 25th place is our random spot. There we go, boys. This will be a good one. Certainly no controversies there at all. I'll go ahead with the 450 class. 17th the first last year. I'm picking Jett Lawrence, man. I can't pick against him hardly. It's hard to do. I'm going to go Hunter Lawrence for P. Actually, I'm going to go Hayden Deegan P2. He got his first overall win in the 250 class at RedBud. We know America, they like to give the big rah rah USA speech, even though Hayden Deegan has never represented Team USA in Motocross of Nations. But, he'll carry the flag up on the podium and act like a hero. And I think he's going to have a good weekend. I think he's going to have a good race. I'll go Hunter Lawrence P3. Those three are probably going to be the podium a lot. What order, that depends. RedBud, 250 class. It's Joe time. Yoshimoto gets the overall win at RedBud. I think Cole Davies is going to go P2. I think he's going to back it up. He's going to have a really good result. I don't think it's going to be as consistent. And then for third, part of me wants to put Levi Kitchen. Part of me wants to be different. So I'm being different. Ryder DeFrancisco was the fastest qualifier at RedBud a year ago. All he's got to do is put a decent moto with a great moto. I think he could go 2-6 for third. If he does that, cool. Awesome. I think Ryder D could sneak in a podium at RedBud. I think he's got the talent and speed to do it. 25th place. This is fun. 25th place is hard to pick. I don't know how many guys will be back from injury. I believe Cairoli will be racing RedBud as well. So there's going to be a lot of talent in there. It's going to be hard to pick. 450 class, realistically speaking, 25th could score points because I think Lacurcio was 24th overall at High Point with a point. And in the 250 class, like we mentioned, Fapani was 26th and he had a point. I'm going to say, and I'm going to go with the homer pick. Jack's probably going to be mad that I picked him instead of him. Jace Kessler at his
Damn it,
home
dude. Why
race
the
going to get 25th on his Nectar Energy
dude?
gas. I knew
Dude,
Jack would be mad
dude,
that
that's
I got that
why.
pick in before
Bro,
him.
bro.
He was closer to the points at High Point. He had his best career result at RedBud a few years ago, 3 years ago. I interviewed him after the fact, like 2 weeks within me being a writer. I interviewed like 10 people. I felt like the man. But Jace Kessler, 25th, I think he gets a point or two maybe this weekend. 250 class, um, he's way better than 25th, but he's been struggling after coming back from his foot injury, and he didn't score a single point at High Point. So I'm going to go Avery Long for 25th. Not been a great summer for him so far. He was like 28, 23 at High Point or something like that. He's only got a handful of points this summer. It's not been great for the 57. I think he is capable of much more, absolutely. But once again, the 250 class, there are so many guys in there that could score points. A lot of fantastic riders. Plus, who could be coming back from injury? Maybe we see Anstey back. Not sure who else, but I feel like there will be a few races. Maybe Daxton Bennett comes back. So let's see what happens there. Jack, I stole your random spot guy. So who you got for RedBud predictions?
All right, so this is no disrespect to your country, but it's the 250th year since we beat the Brits' ass. What do they
Crazy.
call your flag though? Like the Great Britain flag?
Union
What do
Jack.
they
The
call it?
Union
Like the Union
Jack.
Jack. And the Lawrence's flag has the Union Jack on it. So I
Yeah,
got
because
Deegan winning that thing on America's birthday. Know what I mean? Deegan's
all
gonna
that,
Deegan's.
mate.
I mean,
All
talk
that.
about Talk about a storyline like right there. Like you
You know
just
how insufferable he will be if he wins, though?
oh
Beats the
god, since
That's what
Lawrences
I
since
on
brought up
August
on the
July
1.
4th.
podium.
He's gonna do
I
the McGregor strut up there on the podium.
I think he's gonna want to though, but it's gonna be good because I think it actually happens. I really do think Deegan wins this race.
Is
Second, I have
there
Hunter Lawrence because I don't think I think if it was Jett behind him, I think Jett gets him, but I think Jett's gonna get third because Jett's gonna be stuck behind his brother. Or Jett's gonna have something go wrong, but it could happen. 250 class. First place, I got Seth Hammerger.
Oof.
rebound?
He'll be back. Second, I have Joe Shimoda. Third, I have Julian Bomer.
Gio. Spell his name wrong real quick. Random, 25th.
I'm pissed, bro. I'm pissed. I'm actually so pressed. So pressed. So pissed. 25th 450 class. Who do I think is gonna race? That's the real question. I don't even know who to pick here. You could literally pick anybody. I feel like the 15 to 35 range is about anybody you can ask. You know what I mean? Uh, I'll give you my 250 first. I'm gonna go Jeremy Fapani for
Oh, all
25th
right.
in the 250 class.
We're
Cappuccino.
riding the J Fresh hype train.
25th. 25th. Give me Vince Freeze.
Vincenzo Freezerton. All right.
That's what I
SRT
got.
Kawasaki. There you go. Ed. RedBud.
We're gonna
RedBud.
RedBud.
You
Jett.
make the trip.
I wish,
I
mate.
will
The only
indeed be
the one
making
that
the
I
trip.
was close to going to is Southwick, but that's now off the cards. You might hear this god awful voice on the commentary for the British Motocross Championship live stream.
No way.
So watch out, guys, for a live stream near you. You're going to be bored to death by this voice. Um, yeah, Hunter second. I just gonna be hating. Hunter second, and then Deegan. He can't even turn up to the nations, mate, to represent for the country. So he's not gonna win here because he hasn't got the minerals. Give me AP. AP's gonna get on the
I was
box.
typing
A
it out. I
true,
want to see, dude. If I'm in
a
that crowd at
true
RedBud,
American.
I told last night when we were recording our recap show, I told Gavin, I'm like, dude, I'm like the amount of alcohol that will be consumed if AP gets on the podium, he'll probably shotgun a beer right there. And he's like, he probably will. 250 class predictions who you got?
True American. Joe,
It's Showtime.
give me give me Juju again. I was number
All
13
right.
as a kid, so I just really have a soft spot for him. And then give me Davies. Big old leap, big jumps. He'll like it. And then 25th, I mean, this is in the realm of what people are going to turn up. Will Hamden Hudson ride? Give me him in
He's
450s.
he's been in that range
Yeah.
all year long. He's been like 23, 24, 25,
I'm just
26.
thinking of random people.
Friend
And
of the show, Hamden Hudson. Partzilla
hey,
PRMX.
hey,
Rocket
when the
Master
Colt boys
drivers.
went over there, they said he was a lovely guy. Went over to the Chambers facility.
He's a good
And
dude.
in 250s, Gage Linville's not going to be racing now, is he? I heard in a podcast. Heard he's out.
It's
So,
Sweet.
it's torn, I think.
okay. Well, I'm going to double. He's going to get his chance. Give me Linville. And then he's going to lose his chance after getting 25th. No offense to Gage Linville. I'm
Do
sure
you
you're
want
a
me to
lovely
put a
guy.
secondary rider just in case he's out?
Yeah, give me
Because we had Oliveira. Jack picked
Cole
Oliveira a few weeks
Timbo.
ago and had Timbo Train.
Oh,
Timbo Train has not
yeah.
been getting
Give
this
me
summer,
him.
unfortunately. I will go quick on MXGP predictions, but those are our 450 picks. Two of us with Jett. Jack has Deegan winning. Two of us with Shimoda winning, oddly enough. Ed and I going on the same wavelength a couple times. But Agueda, MXGP, a bit looser. Lucas Coenen wins. I know I'm real going out on a limb here. Jeffrey Hurlings. I'm gonna go Timmy with the podium. Need to see him on the podium more. MX2 class. For whatever reason, I'm feeling a Mackie W. Camden McClellan
Ooh.
gets the victory in Agueda. I'm not sure why, but last night I'm like, you know what? I'm picking McClellan tomorrow on Stire Sound. Sasha P2. I think I'm just going to keep picking Valan for my podium the rest of the year because I'm a big believer in that guy. 2027 MX2 champion, as I said last week, Mathis Valan. There's my Agueda picks. Will they go well? Probably not, but
Hey, what kind
there
of
you go.
track is Agueda? Ed? Sand, hard track?
Like
Or is it?
it's not. It's like kind of loosey, sticky
Yeah, it's not
clay, like
sand, but it's a bit
orange.
loose
Yeah,
compared to
yeah, it's loose on top.
Give me Hurlings.
Jeffrey Herrick. The bullet. The
That's a
bullet
safe
is
Uh,
on the
pick.
attack. Coonan is in the
Lucas. I'll
visor.
take Lucas. Lucas is second, and then give me Tim third. VL. VL. Sorry.
Oh,
I don't know. All
Tim.
right, listen.
Tim
So
Vial.
here's the
Tim
Timothy
story here.
Vial.
Vial.
So over here in America, we all call him
Timothy.
Tim. We all call him Tim, like Tom. We call Tim Tom or Tom Tim.
Tim Tom, Tom
So
Tim,
like
Tom Tom.
Timmy
Ed,
Vial.
next time you talk to him, Ed, just be like, "Yo, Tim," and he'll be like,
Timmy
"What?"
Vial.
Like he'll probably respond because it's like pretty known. Like we call him Tim,
All
Timothy
right.
Vial.
and then be like, "Why?" He's like, "No, I heard your name." He'd be like, "I heard your boys call you Tim." Just tell him that, something like that. It'd be funny.
All right, MX2 podium Jack.
250
Perez
class.
P1.
Oh yeah. Perez. Perez. Give me Valan second, and then Coonan third.
All right. Ed, you will be there in Portugal this weekend. Who's taking the dub?
Jeffrey Hurlins
Oh, Jeffrey
on
Harlings.
1-7. Give me Lucas second. And then third, I would like someone random, Adamo. Just give
Roman
me
Pet.
Adamo.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
just throwing away picks.
Random.
Points lead's too big. He's like, I don't give a
Nah,
shit.
well, we'll see when that's all green.
I mean,
And
remember,
then
Nashville worked for me. Remember, I took Vince Freezy to win Nashville, and I still ended up winning the championship. It worked out for me because I broke the curse of my 450 picks at that time. All right, MX2, Ed.
I want to go Farrows as well. He was
Yeah, mate. Yeah, mate.
he
Hop
was
on the
good.
fucking
He was
bandwagon.
good.
Right? Come
And
on,
then
man.
Sasha Coonan second.
All right.
And Liam Everts third. He was good. I'm gonna
Liam
hope the
Everts.
momentum
All
rolls over.
right. There
Yeah.
we
Who
go.
gets on the
Agueda
podium? I'll pick
picks,
him for the win next weekend. Liam. Hell yeah,
Red
bro.
Bud picks. Yeah, we're going to South Africa next weekend too, right? Are you
I'm
making that trip,
going.
Ed?
I'm
Oh
I'm there,
my.
yeah.
You're
As a
going.
personal security for Duro. He wanted me over there. He heard about all the good things I've
Oh,
been
heard
saying
the
about
shit.
him.
Right, yeah, yeah.
So he thought, you know what, I'll get you over there, young man, and make sure everything's tickety boo.
Nice.
You'll be in his
Alt Moto
hometown, though. Let's be
security.
real. You'll be with
It's a
Yeah, he'll
his.
very
be
dangerous
in his
place as
trip.
well. The old Joburg, Johannesburg. So
Joburg.
yeah, if you don't see me, just know I love this podcast. I love meeting you boys,
He's
and
in
it's a
the
shame we
favelas.
couldn't
He's
meet
in the
up.
favelas of South
Yeah,
Africa, bro.
yeah, I'm posted up with the boys.
Hey,
Shout
hey,
out.
listen. If you see a guy, you know Marcus Phelps, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You got to
Mm.
see his
Mate, of
his
course I do.
his brother. His brother will be there, I think.
What,
Seb.
racing?
Seb's gonna
No,
be.
maybe Nick. I don't know, but Seb will be there just hanging out though. Like,
All
Seb's
right,
a
we're
good dude
going
too.
just hanging around. I'll go and find them.
just hanging around.
Just
This
hanging
has
around.
been episode number 45 of the Stire Sound. Thank you so much for following us throughout this year. This trio will be back for more wonderful insight and for more fantastic banner. Tune in to see who Jack gets mad at. The next episode will be here after RedBud to wrap up all the action. And we'll also talk briefly about Agueda. We'll have Joe Berg GP race to cover as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. For Jack Noel, for Edward Heather, I am Trey Stire. Enjoy your weeks, everybody. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Thank you so much for watching.